Book notes for a 2020 biography of Donald Trump by Mary L. Trump. Today is Friday, 27 September 2024. I'm Tanis Coralee Leonhardi, she, her, hers, Seattle, and I'm going to go through book notes for a 2020 biography on American businessman and politician Donald Trump. So it's Too Much and Never Enough: How My Family Created the World's Most Dangerous Man by Mary L. Trump. This is a July 2020 Simon & Schuster edition, hardcover. I'll put the ISBN in the video description. Some family member being like, I'm a gold digger. I'm gonna put this out. I don't know if this is the next wife or what. Like, I just put it out in an election year. 2020 presidential election. Make some dough. Who's the better business person now? And the tone of the person, and looking at like the chapters in the book, I'm like, that's totally this person. I have not ever met the gal, Mary L. Trump. I don't know if she's a she, her, hers, or she's transitioned or not. I do not know the gal, so I'm just saying gal. And based on the content of this book, her book, his book, their book, their book, their book, I would reckon they do not even know my name. There we go. Okay. And so, here's the external cover. I don't know who this is a picture of. I think in flipping through the book, it comes across very much as an attack book. I would say, like, she very much it comes across as, like, attacking Donald Trump. And I'm like, you know, the only person I look down upon, like, whose reputation takes a hit because of that particular approach to this book is the authors. When a person spends, let's see, how many pages of that is it? Over 200 pages attacking a person, there's a little bit of, like, it's in terms of reputation. I'm just gonna, yeah. So there's that component of it, and yeah. So we're going through. So the pages are, they're a thin thick. So they're not like, they're like a little flimsy for the standard thickness of this. And the text is more of like 1.5 spacing and like small medium font. There are breaks in paragraph, but they're smaller. There is the part of the title. So this is a title and subtitle. So the title is at the top of for the even numbered pages, and then odd numbered pages is chapter name and then page numbers. She's a supporter of zero-sum games and game theory. John Nash, A Beautiful Mind stuff. As you know, I am not. The only person that I've seen actually implement this kind of like she did was the advisor who wrote the letter who tried to kick me out of the University of California, Berkeley. Well, and the people who invoke it in professional settings tend to be a bit unprofessional. So I'm like, there's another reputation damage she did to herself. But yes, I would say, let's see, for the chapter format, there's no pictures except for that on the cover, but if it's an attack book, she might not have gotten his permission to put it on the cover, so then it might not actually be a real picture. Right. For the chapters, it's the chapter number and then the name of the chapter to start it. And there's also parts. So there's like parts, and then within a part there may be multiple chapters. In terms of flipping through it, I'd say the thing about writing an attack book, and people who like to attack other people are really common. You know, I played soccer, I was a defender, I believe in defense. Right? My nuclear research was for, you know, weapons development and stuff for defense of America. And so, I've had, you know, last 2 generations, we've had fighter pilot in the United States of American Navy, sniper in the United States of America Army, cook and expert marksman in the United States of America Marines. So a foreign concept to this individual of actually service and defending one's country. And so I'd say the problem here I have is it's like attackers of today have kind of developed a certain logic in how they attack. And it's like if certain or person or entity or whatever satisfies G, Y, and Z criteria, we're like, attack them. And they're horrible and they must die and they're the worst person in history. And I was like, isn't that literally what Adolf Hitler said about the Jews? He developed a certain logic and then applied it to an entire people, an isolated individual. And not just the Jews. He did that to the Poles, the Polish people as well, and the gays. Okay, so essentially, she's an example of Adolf Hitler, the Mary L. Trump logic. It can being applied to Donald Trump. It's also, I would say, in like sports, a good example would be world governing bodies. They take and they apply a G, Y, and Z criteria to it changes with time of Russians. So then would so then are the world governing bodies kind of synonymous with Nazis during World War II, and then Russians are synonymous with the Jews. They've definitely had the in-person, on the ground, on their land boycotts for that, right? From like American companies and stuff. Right? The original peoples of the land are being attacked on their own land. I was like, G, Y, and Z criteria for this day and age is a bit different than Adolf Hitler, right? Because he was of original peoples of Germany, right? Of Europe. So in that sense, people who frame him as good, is I'm like, the only logic I can see there is, right, at least it was his own territory, like per ancestry. So, and that's not the logic that's pushed with that guy, right, or that group of people. But like, as someone who's part Native American, I go, you're spewing hate and oppression of us by like ignoring us and real problems, right? And how you mistreat us, Native Americans. And I say that's one thing that Russia gets really right, is their original peoples are the people who are in charge in a large part. And I think America has kind of spewed hate towards that in not just America, but, you know, world governing bodies. And there's a reminder of not everybody is accepting of like ancestral origins and original peoples and like where things come from. And that's just kind of, she's a perfect example of that. He's a perfect example of that. They, she, he, they, he, Mary L. Trump. So yeah, if they really hate Donald Trump, they probably support trans, right? So yeah, be inclusive. They, Mary is a they. So there you go. There's put an attack book out, and it's kind of like, well, enough attack books can help us understand where this new Nazi type, I'm not saying she's a Nazi, he's a Nazi, they're a Nazi, I'm saying it's a similar attack mode logic as the Nazis from Mary L. Trump. So in conclusion, I did not read it. I'm not a fan of attack books. Maybe a 0.5 out of 5 stars, which maybe James Patterson then goes, ha, I got 200% better grade than Mary L. Trump. There we go. Those are my book notes for 2020 biography of Donald Trump by Mary L. Trump.